gotta find me an angel.
You're listening to the Life After Loss podcast. This show is a safe place for angel moms and angel dads who have lost a child. It's a safe place to share, cry, celebrate, and connect to a community of parents who have experienced grief and gotten through it. Here's your host, Darcea Handy.
Angel moms and dads and everyone who's joining us from all over the world, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Life After Loss podcast. Today, what I want to talk about is something I get so many questions about, and it's rituals and memory making. I've talked about it a bit in the past, but let me go into a little more detail for you. Now, first of all, a ritual is something that you can do to celebrate your baby or to honor the passing of your baby. Let's say if your baby is born stillborn or your baby passes away shortly after birth, such as in my case, or if you have a miscarriage, any type of pregnancy loss, and you want to have a funeral service or a ceremony to remember your child or bury your child, that is something that is considered a ritual. Okay, that's something that you're probably going to do one time, that type of ceremony. If your family has a history of doing things when someone passes away and when you experience pregnancy and infant loss, you want to do that for your child, that's something that is considered a ritual. It can also be something that you do repeatedly, let's say every year, like on their birthday or their anniversary, the anniversary of their passing. That is something that is considered a ritual, something that you're going to do several times or just to celebrate the memory of your child. Those are what are considered rituals. For me and my family, as you already know, I did have a funeral service for my son, which was very difficult. And a lot of what I do, I talk to families who are going through the same thing. Now, the ritual for me, for my son, the ritual that I do every year is on his birthday, I go to Forest Park in Babyland where he's buried. And I have a small party for him, just the two of us. I'll take little toy trucks out there. Of course, I take flowers out there, and it gives me an opportunity to just sit and lay and be in the presence of where his physical body is laid at rest. And that comforts me. It may not be the same for everyone, but it does comfort me. That is something that's considered a ritual. Everyone in my family knows that around February, I'm going to be heading out to Forest Park. Now, another thing that I like to do is on Mother's Day, I like to go out and visit with my son. And I do it more times than that, but those are just rituals for me that I do in his memory. And I do that by myself. It's not anything that I do with everyone else because not everyone else is comfortable with that. So when you're doing something that's a ritual to honor the child that you've lost, it has to be something that speaks to you. It has to be something that speaks to you, your spouse, partner, your children, your family, your unit. It has to be something for you. It doesn't have to be something for everyone else. Now, when you're holding a funeral service, yes, invite your family. They want to be there for you. Believe me, I didn't think I wanted a whole bunch of people at my son's funeral, but my family members who came, they were there for me. They supported me, and they continue to support me. They saw the grief and devastation that I was experiencing, so they knew I needed a little more help for a longer time to really start healing. So my family was the support that I needed. That was considered a ritual, having a funeral ceremony. And from that, I had the support that I needed from my family. So if you're going to do something like that, then make sure you have people around you who pour into you positivity. They may not be able to help you plan it. They may not want to walk by the casket or anything like that. But if they're there, they're supporting you, and just be grateful to them for that. Those are in the category of what I would call rituals, something that you're going to do continuously for any period of time. That's your ritual. Now, memory making is something a little bit different. Memory making can include taking your baby's items. Let's say if you purchase clothes for your baby, having your baby's clothes or the items that you have made into a quilt. That's memory making. You'll keep your quilt of your baby's items. Repurposing your baby's furniture, like you're going to make a donation, um, let's say to Goodwill or even a battered women's shelter for the baby's furniture there. That's memory making because you remember what you did with your infant's items. That's memory making. Also, one thing that I'm having done right now is I'm having a charm bracelet made. Now, I've had one made before, but it wasn't the best quality and it didn't last. So I'm having one custom made. And with the charm bracelet, I'm having my son's initials, his first and middle and last name initials. I'm having angel wings placed on it. I'm also having his birthday placed on it. I'm not going to have his date of passing, but I'm going to have his birthday placed on it. It's just something that I'm doing for me. That's memory making. It's just something for me that I want to wear just in honor of my son. I loved him so much from the inside, and I did not have an opportunity to love him very long on the outside. So this is just something for me. And angel moms and dads and families, when you are creating memories, memory making for the child that you lost, make sure it's something that speaks to you. It doesn't have to be what everyone else is doing. Let it be something that's important to you. Okay. Some people decide when they're making memories that they say, okay, I'm going to run a marathon in honor of my child. And they get fit to run that marathon, a 5K, and they do it in honor of their child. Um, some people want, say, okay, I'm actually going to host a fundraiser in honor of my child. And that's one thing that we're looking at as well over here at Life After Loss is a fundraiser to help support grieving parents. Right now, we just don't have enough laws on the books for paid time off. And that's a whole nother story that I will share with you all later. But one part of memory making is hosting fundraisers so there can be money put to the side for families that are grieving and they can have paid time off when they have experienced pregnancy and infant loss. Another thing that you can do, and this is something that we are doing right now here, the Life After Loss family, we have aftercare bags. What we're going to be doing, donating to the Women's Hospital right here and other hospitals locally, are aftercare bags. Those bags just include shaving creams and razors and toiletries for moms and dads who are in the ICU, NICU, the NICU with their infants, or for the moms and dads who have experienced pregnancy and infant loss in the hospital and they're just staying a little longer, spending more time because now there are cribs in the hospitals now that are made so they're really cold, so you can spend more time with your infant. Once your infant has passed, you can still spend that time. So we're putting together aftercare bags for those parents who don't want to leave the hospital, but they want to freshen up. It's going to have we have toothpaste, mouthwash, all of those things, wipes, body wipes. That is a way that you can create a memory of your child. You're doing that in honor of the child that you lost. You're helping another family. They've experienced what you've gone through. Are they going through what you've been through? And just think about when you were there and your baby, you knew your baby was dying and you didn't want to leave. Did you have the time to take care of yourself, brush your teeth, all that? You probably didn't think about any of that. So with the Life After Loss podcast family, with us putting those bags in those aftercare bags in the hospitals, it warms my heart because it's something I wish someone would have done for me. And we wouldn't have had to leave and, have to come back. You're there, they're able to stay because they have that. Another thing that you can do for memory making is purchase a bear or a Beanie Baby for the month of your child's birthday. And both of those I have done. I've done both of them. Another thing, this is something that I want to say that a lot of people don't know. When you have your baby at the hospital, okay, fetal photos, the infant's first pictures are taken. They do take pictures of the baby when the baby is born. So ask your hospital for those pictures. You might have to pay for them, but ask for those pictures, as well as the baby's gown and the hat. If you've had, if you delivered your baby, then they probably have wrapped the baby up in the gown and the hat. My son had a hat, my son had a gown, and I have both of them. And I love those items of his, because his blood is on some of them. When the babies are first born, before they're cleaned up, we know that they come out of the out of the placenta. So his body fluids that are on his gown comfort me. So ask your hospital for that. You have a right to those items, they belong to your child. Another thing you can do as far as rituals is, if you know that your baby is probably not going to make it, and they let you know your child is probably not going to make it, and you're someone whose family practice baptisms, then ask the nurses and the doctors, can you have your infant baptized? And usually there's a priest or a minister or a member of clergy on the hospital floors. There's usually a chapel in the hospital, and there's usually a member of clergy, and your child can be baptized. And that was really important to me. My son was baptized, so I actually have his baptismal certificate in the memory book that I created for him. And that's another thing you can do: create a memory book or create a scrapbook. Now, when you're making memories, it has to be something that is for you. It's for you and your family. It doesn't have to be for the whole world. I have family members who support me, but they haven't looked at my son's memory book, and that's okay. I have family members who support me, but they don't go to the cemetery with me, and they don't visit Babyland with me, and that's okay. It's hard for them. You would think it's harder for me. It's hard for them as well. I'll tell you why. Sometimes it's hard for your family to go with you because they have to relive your pain all over again. And sometimes that's heavy for them. So for me, my family offered so much support. My sisters, my brother, my parents, they offered me so much support that I said, you know what, I'm not going to put them through this. Oh my goodness. I said, I'm not going to put them through this. They don't have to be here, but I'm going to go because this is something that I'm doing for me. The memory you're making for your child is for you. It's for you. It's a way to honor the memory of the child that you wanted. It's a way to honor the life that was taken so soon. And it has to be something for you. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. So make sure when you're doing something to make memories is for you, is from your heart. You don't have to please everyone else. So yes, I go and I visit my son in Babyland, and I visit the other babies who are in Babyland. And my family members don't have to come because that's not what they do. They support me in other ways. But I have other angel moms. I have a family of angel moms who support me, and we do things together. Like right now, as we're getting our bags ready to take to the hospitals, to the NICUs, it's going to be the team of angel moms and our supporters who are going out bagging them up, and we're taking them to the hospital. And that's something that we're doing just in the memory of our children that we have lost. And we're just giving back to someone else because we know how it feels. We know how it feels to be where they are. Another thing that you can consider for memory making is placing a bench in the park in memory of your child, or in a private place in memory of your child, in honor of your child. You know, a bench for someone to sit in, or you can have a tree planted. And that's something else that I am working on. And I absolutely love the idea. Now you can plant a tree. You can actually plant trees at the funeral home or the cemetery where your infant is buried. And it's a living memory. Tree planting is called a living memory because the tree is going to blossom, it's going to grow, and it's going to live. And you'll get to see that tree live. And for me, the tree planting is going to represent the life that my son didn't have. So I'll get to watch this tree that I'm planting in his honor blossom. And it's good for the environment as well. But this beautiful tree is going to blossom. And people will be able to visit. And it's a living memory of the life that my son didn't have. So, angel moms and dads and family members, when you're thinking about rituals and memory making in honor of pregnancy and infant loss, make sure it's something that speaks to you, it's from your heart, and it celebrates the life of the child that you want to celebrate, and it honors their life in the way that you want to do it. So with that, angel moms and dads, please don't forget to go to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com and check out all of our podcasts. We have wonderful podcasts on our page, and I really appreciate all of you. I love each and every one of you. And as I always say, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time.
You've been listening to Life After Loss with your host, Darcea Handy. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast for new episodes every Wednesday. For more on this program, log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.